Greetings from Malaga. I know some of my friends, or some of my friends have messaged me and asked me where I am. So I'm in Malaga. I'm just going to see if anybody jumps on, because there's a part of me saying not to come on live and do this, but there's another part of me feeling like I really want to share what's happened this evening in the men's group that I've been to, because it feels really, really invaluable, and why I believe that learning how to speak from the heart and authentic communication is a really important practice for every human being who is on the awakening journey. So if you're with me tonight, maybe you're meant to be here listening to what I've got to say, and if nobody joins me, or if nobody is interested in this, then you know, so be it. But I do feel called to share what happened this evening. I'm in a really beautiful apartment here, probably the nicest apartment I've ever stayed in Malaga, and it's very, very hot. It was cooler this evening, but daytime was really, really hot. So let me know if you're listening, if you're here, and where you are. Be good to know who's actually here, and if you've done any authentic communication, and if you know what authentic communication is. So about 8 years ago, I started studying authentic communication and how to speak from the heart, and it's really challenging because we've all been brought up in a world where we have to, or we've been programmed to just constantly be in the head, speak from the mind, share from the mind, talk from the mind, and not really understanding how to fully listen to another when they are sharing how they're feeling, because we're so programmed to speak from the head and respond from the head without fully giving our attention or fully giving our love, our listening, our actually hearing what somebody is saying, is very, very rare. And it's not until somebody has actually generally learned how to speak from the heart that it's a practice that it just doesn't happen in everyday life. And that's why I spent about 8 years facilitating heart circles and teaching people how to speak from the heart. And this evening I was very blessed to be invited to an online event where a men's circle was happening tonight, and I was invited to join it, and it's something I always secretly wanted to do. Actually, I was quite vocal about the fact that I would like to. I'd love to listen into a men's group, and I was actually invited in tonight to listen into a men's circle, and it actually ended up being a really beautiful share, because it was just men and me, and it was very unusual because, you know, in any groups that one goes to, generally, if you know anyone who's sort of in the spiritual world, you know, it's often pretty much a lot of women, and maybe 75% women, maybe 25% men. Generally, I think it's got better now, but to be the only woman in a men's group was a real gift, actually, and a real honour to be there to sort of represent, you know, a woman. And it's left me feeling really full and relaxed, and I had an opportunity to really be vulnerable. And it's something I teach people how to do, how to be really vulnerable and really connect with a part of you that we don't show in public. you know. And I think many people, even when they're around their loved ones or around very close friends, many people don't know how to touch that depth of vulnerability and authenticity. But it is something that you can learn. It is absolutely something that you can learn how to do. And I was very blessed because the facilitator tonight was an American guy, and he was clearly a very experienced teacher. And the teacher, the facilitator, is very important, because you will only ever really kind of go to the depth that the facilitator can hold their own vulnerability and their own depth. So it was a beautiful experience tonight, and it's made me see that we need many more of these. We need people to learn. We need us to learn how to speak from the heart, and how to be vulnerable, and how to be authentic, if we're going to go forward in these conscious relationships that many of us in the sort of, I don't know what community to call us now, because, you know, I wouldn't call it an awake community, because the word awake now has so many connotations and so many meanings. But if you're on a path to greater awareness and to accessing higher states of consciousness, and you are on this journey to self and to connect with the God, the goddess within you, it's an essential. It's absolutely essential. And so I really have this longing to teach again, to do a group, to take maybe a weekly group over a 6-week course, and start the basics, to teach how to speak from the heart, and how to connect to your emotional body, and from that place how your life can become enriched, and how you can learn greater self-love, and therefore greater love of all beings, and the impact that has on the quality and the richness of your life when you can do that. And then to bring together the men and the women. It really was very, very special tonight. And I really think this is what we need if relationships are going to continue to become more conscious, and if we're going to grow as a humanity with the masculine and the feminine within ourselves as well as in each other, and how we can, many of us who have never been in conscious relationships, many of us have been in in relationships, and it's interesting because, you know, I've been around many of the spiritual communities for a number of years, probably about sort of, well, maybe not that long. Maybe I've been around these conscious communities for maybe around 7 years, something like that. And there's been so much spiritual bypassing in the spiritual worlds that, you know, a lot of it has come to light now. And to be in a group in a shared circle, which tonight happens to be a men's group, but to be even in I would say a more mature group, where it just wasn't a bunch of well, this sounds awful actually, but you know, there's a lot of flakiness. There has been historically a lot of flakiness and a lot of spiritual bypassing in many of these communities. So I feel really excited at the thought of bringing together a more mature group of people who can, and when I say mature, I'm not talking about age, I'm just talking about just kind of everyday people who genuinely want to learn how to get out of their heads and learn how to speak from the heart. And this is so important, this is vital, this is absolutely vital if we're going to have and go into relationships. And there are so many people in relationships that are not really serving, are not allowing them to grow, that are sexless. And, you know, we really need to learn how to be so honest with ourselves, Because if you think about it, how can anyone go out and have a conscious relationship with somebody if you cannot be totally like loving up on yourself and totally honest with yourself and able to be really vulnerable and hold the parts of you that are maybe feeling disconnection or feeling like you're not being fully seen as who you are, and you're not even seeing who you are. Like you can't even meet those parts of you that you're just holding back and repressing and keeping hidden. And it's about accepting and loving all of who we are, even the parts of us that are, you know, not feeling this or scared about that or worried about that. It's like, bring them to the party, bring them in, you know, in a heart circle. When we're doing conscious communication, when I'm holding a beginner's heart circle, you know, all those aspects of you are invited to the party. Hi, who have we got there? The light's funny in here. It's quite dark. I've got the lamp on. But anyway, if anyone wants to say anything, I'm in a beautiful apartment in Malaga, in case anyone wonders where I was. It's really warm. It's been hot today. I'm in this beautiful space, and I've just been to a men's circle. I was invited to a men's circle online, and it was brilliant. And it's just, I suppose oh my God, I just noticed myself say, I suppose I've been quite lazy lately. And that's so not true. That's actually so not true. I have been in quite a traumatised state, having had my home flood about 10 days before Christmas, and I have been in quite a traumatic state where my nervous system has been completely pushed out of place, and I'm just coming back and landing back in that place of isn't it interesting. The last 3 years has been really interesting. It's been quite an injection of chaos and change, because prior to my home flooding I had 6 months of selling the magic wand, which I'm still selling, but when I do something I really do it. And oh my God, I sold so many magic wands that I just had to sort of close the door on that for a while to have a breather, and then my home flooded, and life is just coming back to being fully amazing again. And isn't it amazing how we have to, well, we don't have to have, but the full range of this human experience. So how would I know the light if I didn't know the dark? And it's been quite a dark place since Christmas for me. And I know many of you are going through your own personal challenges as well. So I just came on here just to share that. I'm feeling very tired now, very full, very peaceful. But I am going to, probably over the next 3 or 4 weeks, I am going to be offering a 6-week online session, offering a heart circle for beginners or for anybody who wants to come back and who's been to my courses before, or you know, anyone who's done advanced work. I work with teachers. It doesn't matter. You don't need to be any level to come back to the practice of authentic communication, and learning how to speak from the heart and becoming more embodied, like living more in your body rather than in the head. And that really is one of the most important aspects of awakening and going into a more embodied state, and a more embodied state of living a full, a rich, blissful life, and loving all the parts of you, beautiful you, and not repressing and contracting in the parts of you that you don't like, the parts of you that you feel are not worthy of love, because actually you are fully worthy of love. And what was so lovely tonight about being the only woman in a men's group was actually being able to be very vulnerable and share my experience, not from a sort of story perspective, but you know, when we share an experience, but then we just allow ourselves to fully speak and share the emotion and how we're feeling and how we felt maybe in our lives around relationship, and how it's been for the feminine, you know, in a relationship with the masculine, and to hear the men share their stories of you know, of the feminine, how we can come together more and dance together a more beautiful dance than ever before. It's really exciting, and it's great to see these communities starting to come together in a new way and give birth in a new way, because relationships are changing, and they've come to a point in evolution where, you know, relationships are, the majority of relationships are not really fulfilling in many ways, and so learning to have a fulfilling relationship with oneself is really important if you want to have a beautiful, fulfilling relationship with another. And so I'm just speaking to that tonight. So thanks for listening. The light is so weird in here. I've got like 2 lights on in here, like I've got all the lights on. Let me show you my place, hang on, because I think I know. So I've got this really lovely, look, I've got both the lights on, and it's really dark in here. It's such a nice apartment. Hi, thanks for saying hello. Hi Michelle, I love you. Hello Tanya. Hello Surinder Singh. Hello Graham, if you're still there, and Denise. So yeah, so it's this really nice, it's a really lovely, beautiful apartment. I'm right in the centre of Malaga for a few days, and then I've got I've got a really nice bedroom, really nice bathroom, there's a kitchen, and then and outside, it's probably way too dark to, so I've got a little veranda. Oh look, the restaurants are still open. It's typical Spain, España, mañana. It's a bit chilly now, but the daytime was so hot. To think that it's like literally like less than 2.5 hours to get to Spain. And let's turn the camera around. Yeah, to think that Spain is so near, and yet it's so hot. It's just, it's insane. It was insanely hot today. I couldn't believe it. I was like too hot in this dress. I need cotton summer dresses here. So, yeah. So that's all. I just wanted to share all of that, and I'll be putting it out there soon to do a 6-week authentic communication heart circle type group together, where we will practice the practice of speaking from the heart and authentic communication. So God bless, and thanks for listening. Bye for now.